Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Cosmere Connections. We're a collective of book-loving nerds rereading Brandon Sanderson's Cosmere series. From book 1 to book 16 million, we'll be uncovering every seer connection there is to find. On our show today, we have Swiggity Swoo.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining us.
John.
Don't be like Wax.
Okay.
You can change your hat. You can't change your face, but you can change your hat.
You even practiced it.
And I'm ReaderWarrior.
And I still messed it up.
It happens. And today we're going to be covering Alloy of Law chapters 1, 2, and 3. And we're just going to get right into it. And I believe, John, you took chapter 1.
I sure did, and I do in fact have my notes right here.
That's amazing.
I know.
In the chamber.
Locked and loaded. So 5 months have passed since we last saw Wayne lamenting the loss.
Wax.
Yep.
Wax.
That one.
Yeah, Wayne must have been really upset about it too.
Sort of, kind of both, but really Wax is the one we care about here.
We haven't met Wayne at this point yet.
Technically, we have not. Okay.
He's been name dropped twice, and that's about it.
So it's been 5 months since Wax left Weathering after blasting his lover in the face with a handgun. Not intentionally. And he's at a fancy party feeling all kinds of, just miserable and stifled and depressed. And, he wants to be anywhere else. So he kind of puts on a show and he plays nice, but he decides he needs to just, get out and get some air. So he goes and stands on the balcony and he's kind of remarking about the city that he sees and kind of talks about the mists a little bit and how he feels so much better to be out away from that kind of cloying situation. But he still is reliving in his mind Lessie's death. And particularly he keeps hearing that gunshot that killed her. And as he's looking out over the city, he's kind of noting places and things that have famous names that relate to people from other books. And eventually, the hostess comes and invites him back into the party, and he's like, I'll be right there. I'm not quite ready to rejoin. I just need some more air. And 2 seconds later, he jumps off the balcony and flies off in an allomantic fit to go exploring the city. And
this is so
rude like Batman.
Like Tim Burton Batman. Oh my god.
Yeah, it kind of is.
Mm-hmm.
I was just thinking that.
Oh yeah, because he's totally brooding.
He is Batman. Wax is Batman. Mm-hmm.
He's even got a butler.
I mean, just want to punch crime, but I know deep down that doesn't really solve it.
Except Batman's rich and Wax is borderline destitute for a nobleman.
He's
or for a house lord.
Playboy philanthropist.
To be fair, he's destitute for a nobleman. He's still filthy rich.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Second
rich people bankrupt is not normal people bankrupt.
Well, yeah. I think his house has influence, but maybe not as much money as a lot of the other houses, which is where chapter 2 comes in.
But he still has money.
He does still have money.
I do want to say,
the house reputation is in the pooper, and their finances are all a who, and he kind of is not ready to step up and be a house lord. So instead, he goes gallivanting across Ellendale, randomly blasting guns into the air to gain height with his allomantic pushes and his light body that he's, storing his weight away in his metal mines. And as he's gallivanting about the city doing all of these sort of scandalous things, he decides he's going to climb a skyscraper, just because it's a high place and he'll feel better. And he does kind of feel better in the moment while he's doing all this. He feels free, he feels a little more like his old self again, and it's kind of reassuring. But when he gets to the top of that skyscraper, he kind of realizes, okay, it's time to pack it in for the night, and he lets himself drift down and again uses his guns to like slow his fall. And he realizes that he probably shouldn't be doing that when he like looks at the cobblestone that he shot with his shotgun and it's like broken, and he's like, oh, I'm kind of a menace.
First he's like, I'm gonna shoot a shotgun in midair, and then Brandon has to write, by the way, the bullets were special kinds so that at this velocity they won't hit anybody when they fall.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, because he's being pretty reckless and totally irresponsible. So that's why I said don't be like Wax. But as he's kind of coming down and landing, he hears a gunshot, and he's like, oh boy, I get to be crime fighter guy again. And he goes chasing after the gunshots, and he eventually finds a group of ne'er-do-wells that are having a shootout with some constables. And he does the superhero landing in the middle of the alley and aims his gun down at the bad guy, and he hesitates. And it's a good thing that he had his steel bubble up, because one of the bad guys gets a shot off at him before he can pull the trigger. And it comes this close to, blowing up his insides. Which was a big wake-up call for him. He's like, oh god, what am I doing? And he just leaps away and finds cover on the top of a building. And as he leans over to like take another shot, the constables come in and finish the fight and take away the bad guys. And he's like, I totally could have shot that second time. Yeah, I totally could have. I could have done that. Yep. But whether or not he's being honest with himself is not entirely clear. I, for one, think he probably wasn't being entirely honest with himself, because he's clearly still a wreck and not in a good place mentally.
Yeah, what a strange
Shooting your wife.
character. Like, this is Alloy of Law, and it's the first book of the series, right? We've read through it, so we kind of know Wax as a character a little bit more, but I always think back to first time reading this and how much history this guy already has, and what stage he's at in his development right now. I don't think it hit me quite as hard the first time reading it, but now I'm just thinking about like what he went through and how vulnerable he is in this situation, and like, he tries to run away from his responsibilities by dodging the party, and then he tries to fight crime like he used to and be that old person that he was, but he's like experienced that vulnerability and that heartbreak, and he freezes up. And I think that's a pretty cool moment. That's all I really had to say about it.
Yeah,
it's like sorry.
No, go ahead.
You do feel like there's a lot of history and
technical difficulties.
And welcome back. Sorry for the technical difficulties. So, somewhere in there, we were talking about Wax and him coming back to reality and deciding it was time for him to go home, which he does. And when he gets there, he sees his wagon, or his coach is there waiting for him, just because the people that worked for him in his household have kind of gotten used to his antics, and they figured out that he was just going to come home allomantically rather than, via carriage. And as he realizes that, his mood starts to come down some more, and he's like, I don't want to deal with these people and get yelled at, so I'm just going to go in through the second story window and avoid people, which he does. He goes in through the window, and not long after he lands, like before he even makes it across the room, his butler Tion opens the door and is like, Master Ladrian, good to see you home. I took the liberty of drawing up a bath for you. And in true Alfred fashion. And he's like, Wax is like, I didn't ask for a bath. He's like, yeah, but we figure you probably need one after the night's activities. And he also makes a snarky comment about Wax smelling like gunpowder. um,
They're treating him like a
and Wax is
child.
like, yeah, pretty much. Like, and Wax is like, yeah, okay, you're probably right. I'll take the bath. And Fiona's like, can I be brutally honest with you for a minute? And Wax is like, yeah, sure. And he says, there are lots of constables in the city, and they're very good at their jobs. But there is only one Lord Ladrian, and he's responsible for the well-beings of thousands of people. So it would be good if you could choose which of those you're going to be and be it. Paraphrasing, he's not quite so snarky, but that's the point Tiona's making, and Wax is kind of like, yeah, I sort of came to that conclusion too. So he takes off his mist cloak and his guns, and he puts them in his chest, and he says, "Okay, go ahead and put these away somewhere safe. I won't be needing them anymore." And Tiona's like, I'll put them somewhere safe should you need them again." And Wax is like, "No, I won't, but I'll take that bath now." And that's kind of where they leave things on this sort of depressed. Wax has to grow up now and be a big boy, and he can't be what he feels he truly is, and it's this sort of muted, dark, kind of sad moment. But that's the end of the chapter.
Yeah. Let me see. So some fun aspects that I thought we could at least draw attention to is they now have electricity. Ellendale, my boy, and it was designed by Harmony. Set Mansion is referenced.
I was gonna ask in this. So yeah, the mansion is set mansion. So technically, Wax is distantly related to them, which is interesting to think about.
Yeah.
But is it in this chapter they also mention horseless carriages, don't they?
Yes,
they
yeah.
do.
Wax. While
Yeah.
Wax is out and about, he notices them, and he wonders for a while what Lessie would think of them.
Mhm.
They're tiny wheels for paved roads. There's the Demu Promenade and Tikil Tower. This one's a bit weird to me. So
Why? Tikil is House Tikil from
Yes.
Tikil House. So Tikil was one of Ellen's friends.
Yes,
In Era
but all
1.
all of the Tikils were killed. If we remember, they were all killed because they tried to run away on the canal boats, and they were supposedly attacked by bandits when it was actually Hasting.
Mhm.
So
Well,
somehow
all-
one of them survived.
Not necessarily. I mean, everybody in the surviving crew knew of them.
It also might have been so, because it might have been just that the main family was all killed, because they were clearly they were leaving to go somewhere. The Tikils were, so they were probably going to one of their like outer estates, where some of their like more distant family relations might have been living. So like there could be other Tikils who are living on more distant estates.
Mhm. And possibly they all came together. I mean, Vin was from House Tikil, technically. So I imagine, like, hey, we're all related to the lady who saved the world. We're going to capitalize on that.
Yeah.
That'd be a great way to spin it. A bit of a misrepresentation.
Yeah, but such is the history. You also got a character named Aving Set, relating to Set. Miss Coates instead of Miss Cloaks.
Yeah, and it's interesting because now it's not Mistborn, because Mistborn like don't exist anymore. They're mythological. They're mythology now. Mistborns like aren't around anymore. So now mist cloaks are used by regular mistings.
The last Mistborns were there were no
Spook.
more Mistborns now except the Survivor and Ascended Warrior.
Ascendant Warrior.
love that name, though.
Legends of the Past.
And that's
No,
what
they
it
made-
says right
That's
now.
what it says.
I
That's what it says.
thought
But
Harmony
we do-
made
So you were
Spooka.
you're
Correct.
Nobody knows.
We do know that from the end of Hero of Ages, but that is not referenced in this chapter set.
It
But
is
we
not.
do know that.
So I don't
I'm
have
just
to
saying what's
cut that out.
referenced.
That's
No.
okay.
It is weird having to balance the canon of 3 other books as we start a whole new series.
It feels like a spoiler, but it's not.
But yeah.
Um,
Spook is
retrograde.
Spook is technically the Mistborn.
Yeah.
But he is not mentioned in this chapter as being a Mistborn.
yes.
His title was literally. Wait, that shit. You have to cut that out. Sorry.
Just a simple bleep. Okay. There's also a line about Wayne knowing all the different possible names of all Twinborn categories. I did 250 possibles, and Wax is what is known as a crasher.
Mhm.
Yeah, but I didn't feel like that was particularly important information.
I think it's
And-
interesting that that crasher is the term used.
Somebody who can fly and turn into a heavy object.
Yeah,
That's what they do. They jump on
like
you.
who literally throws himself through the air and probably ends up crashing into things fairly often. I just think it's kind of
I had a little bit of so at one point Wax is standing on a lamppost and he jumps up to the 20th story and he says that's about where the steel line ends. So that means there is a line limit strength of about 247 feet.
we know that from Era 1 that there is like a certain
But now we have,
there's a
like,
point that you
We
get
also
to.
know from Era 1 that that line, that distance, is affected by the mass of the metal.
and the Allomancer
And
just
the
never before have we
strength
had
Yeah,
of the
yes.
Allomancer, yeah.
never before have we had like a specific mathematical.
So if we
But we
have
don't,
enough
because we don't know how
information-
relatively strong Wax is in comparison to any other steel pusher.
Correct.
Well, we can. Yeah, but we know Waxes.
we have a place to
What
start.
do we know about Wax right now here?
We have a frame of reference now.
Yeah.
We have the foundation for a comparison if we ever find another data point.
Right.
Mhm.
We have one. It's better than 0.
Yes, one data point. Exactly. I want to comment on this random hoodlum having a shootout, seeing like Wax just drop down, aim is gone at him, freak out, and then leave.
Honestly, poor Wax, he's having some like bad flashbacks stuff going on.
He's definitely having a bad mental health day.
Yeah.
I don't
He's
think
having a bad mental health year.
5 months is not
Well,
enough time.
at least 5 months. We've only seen
Yeah.
that much of it.
Yeah.
And then I like that Wax's motive isn't that his house needs money or that he needs money. It's that the people who are working for him, they need the money and he wants to protect them.
Yeah, because he, as I stated earlier, is still filthy rich.
Yeah.
Like,
And my last comment is that Wax is the 16th High Lord of House Ladrian.
so he is 16 generations removed from Breeze
Actually,
and Alran.
okay. So I also did some math based upon what
Oh
we
boy.
later know. Because
Save it.
in between chapters.
Later, no. You said later, no. Wait. Put a pin in
Okay.
it.
Okay, I'll come back to it later. Okay, that's all I got for chapter 1 then.
Teaser for later.
Chapter 2. Are we ready?
Yep, let's go.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay, so we are 6 months after chapter 1. So it's been almost a year. What?
Assuming Scadrial has 12 months like Earth.
Assuming Scadrial has 12 months. They might have 16 months. We don't know.
I would put money on it.
What is your statement, reader?
I have a nitpick. So
Oh, boy.
chapter 1 starts off with the words 5 months had passed. Chapter 2 starts off with a little thing that says 6 months later. Why does chapter 1 not get a 5 months later?
I don't know. That's a question for Sanderson. It sounds like a question for Sanderson.
Probably
Small
because
nitpick.
this was supposed to be the equivalent to the modern day secret projects, and it just grew into so much more.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Okay.
There.
So I'm just gonna continue. So it's
Ignore
been
him.
6
It
months.
was ruined.
So based on what we know of Scadrial is similar to like Earth time. So I'm gonna guess that it's on a 12-month schedule. But I don't actually know that. But it's been almost a year. We're getting close to a year. Either way, it's been a while. Since Leslie died and Wax came back to Ellendale. So, and he is trying to arrange a marriage. Because, as we stated earlier, his house kind of broke. Broke in the sense of that, like, rich people are broke, which is, like, not broke in the sense that, like, you're actually broke. He is trying to arrange a marriage, and he's like stressing about this arranged marriage. And he is trying to arrange a marriage with Lord Harms's daughter. We haven't met Lord Harms, so we're going to meet him later in this chapter. And he goes into the room where he thinks that Lord Harms has arrived early to their meeting, and he goes into the room. He's like stressing about the meeting. Goes into the room, and guess who he sees? Not Lord Harms, his wonderful best friend in the entire world, Wayne. And he's like, "What are you doing here? Why are you here?" He's like, "Why are you here, Wayne? I told you to stay in Weathering. You were supposed to be protecting the people there. Why are you here?" And Wayne is essentially, in not so much words, but he's like, "I missed you." Essentially. not
Like,
those
I
words.
left Barl in charge.
In a lot
Everything's
more
fine.
words.
In a lot more words, and not as explicitly, but it's basically amounts to, "I missed you, and I want to spend time with you again because I like you, and I miss spending time with you. So, I'm gonna put in that there's this investigation that I want your help with, and just kind of leave it at that for a second." And then, of course, that's when Lord Harms shows up. And when Lord Harms shows up, we learn that Wayne is also an Allomancer. And he is what is called a slider. So
New metal
he's
alert.
Bendalloy, which we get to see him use later in the chapter. But essentially, Bendalloy allows you to create a bubble around yourself where it essentially speeds up time within the bubble. So you can move really, really fast when you're inside that bubble of time. And Wayne uses it to change his outfit and put on a disguise. And because Wayne is a master of disguises. So he does a very funny thing. He puts on a fake mustache, whole 9 yards, takes off his old raggedy clothes. They're not raggedy, but they're dusty, and he like scrunches up his face to make it look all wrinkly, and he changes his accent, and he pretends to be Wax's uncle during this conversation. So in walks Lord Harm with his daughter Steris, as well as Marasi, who they introduce, who is Steris' cousin. And I love Steris. I just want to say that right now. I enjoy Steris. Oh, that's why I wanted this chapter, is because she's one of
You
my...
stole both Wayne's chapter and Steris's chapter in one chapter.
I did it entirely because of Steris. Yes.
Oh boy.
But I do want to say, like, I love Steris. She's not that great in this book. I do love her though, but she shows up and they're talking about the marriage, and Lord Harms is like, oh yeah, like, you, Steris, I had asked you to compile your thoughts, and she pulls out a 100-page document. I don't know if it's actually 100 pages, but it's really long.
I thought it was something like 20 pages, but
it's 20 pages.
It's way longer than it needs to be.
I don't know. How big is your average prenup? I mean...
But this was not what Wax was expecting. Wax was not expecting to show up to this meeting with a prenup contract, a marriage contract that she brings, and essentially is like, here, this is for you to review. That all of my thoughts are stated in this contract. And he's like, but I thought we could use this time to get to know each other. And she's like, okay, I will send you the first draft of my autobiography that I am writing.
Easiest way.
Who needs conversation when you have a really boring book?
Yeah. Steris, jeez. You know.
I'm gonna get hate mail for this, but I imagine her autobiography to read like a Jane Austen novel.
Probably.
That is hilarious. That is so funny. So while they're having this conversation with Steris and Arms, Wayne is constantly trying to get Wax's attention to get him focused on this case that he wants Wax to join. And it gets brought up that, and they do go into a speed bullet and they talk for a little bit, and Wayne gives the bullet to Wax during this speed bubble conversation that they have. And essentially we find out that there have been a series of train robberies that have been happening. And at first they started out where the train robberies, they were just robbing cars full of goods. They were essentially, a phantom train car would show up and the people would go to investigate, and then it would disappear, and by the time that the people got back, one of the train cars had been emptied of everything in it. More recently, there have been the robberies have started involving passengers, and each time the passenger train cars are robbed, they take a hostage. And most recently, there was a robbery at the theater that involved the same people. It was the same group of people who robbed the theater. And Wax is now interested. Now he's like, getting hooked on this a little bit. So he tells Steris, he agrees to Steris and her father that they are going to start to proceed with the courtship between Steris and him, and that the first event that they're going to go to is the yeoman wedding that's happening tomorrow. I think it's tomorrow.
Day after tomorrow.
The day after tomorrow. Okay.
Sounds
like it's close. Yeah. Fairly soon, within the next couple days. That's going to be their first public event that they're going to go to, and before then, he's going to read over this contract that Steris has written up. and Steris, her dad, and Marasi, they all leave, and Wax looks at the bullet, and he tries to allomantically push on it, and he cannot. The bullet is made of aluminum. And this is kind of what catches his attention the most, is like, what? These robbers, aluminum in this world is more expensive than gold. It is the most expensive metal that you can buy, and it is allomantically inert. That means you cannot affect it with allomancy. So this is kind of what has this is now catching his attention, because why do these robbers aluminum bullets? What's going on? Now he's interested.
Just like aluminum is not magnetic, where steel or other metals is. In this world, you can't push or pull on it, so people like Wax can't put up a steel bubble.
And so you can't push or pull on it. Also, if you are wearing aluminum lining in your hat, you cannot be affected by emotional allomancy either. Mm-hmm. So not only does it stop not only can you not push or pull on it, it also prevents emotional allomancy. It is very important.
Has a million uses. I can't wait to talk about all of them in the spoiler section.
I think it's funny that in this world, it's the rich hoity-toity people that have the aluminum foil hats, and it's us average Joes that are like, I wish I could be not affected by emotional allomancy.
I think it's funny that actually aluminum hats prevent emotional manipulation.
That's awesome.
What is Brandon trying to say?
Well, we can unpack that more later.
To jump ahead for me in my section, I think it's in my chapter. It talks about how some politicians or a politician ran on the fact that they could put up a copper cloud and wouldn't be affected by emotional allomancy.
I get so bugged by that.
And they won.
Yeah.
And they
in
won.
a landslide.
Because of it.
Why did that bug you?
Because Wax says that the person proclaimed, I am a copper cloud and not a smoker. Just little tiny things bugging me.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it's the...
I feel like that's just semantics. I feel like smoker is kind of the colloquial term.
Yeah.
Well, it's like, it would kind of like Wax saying, I am a steel push.
It's kind of more like Wax saying, I am a pewter arm. Or, well, it's more like someone saying, I am a pewter arm versus I am a thug.
But, okay, and we're just going to argue semantics. But copper cloud is the ability, is not the person. Smoker
it can't
is
be
the
both.
person. No, because the cloud is what covers. You are not the cloud. You are the smoker. You're the person who creates the cloud.
I think we're just going to be arguing at this point, and I think we should just move on. Also, I forgot to mention that Wayne is also a Twinborn, just like Wax is. And his ferrochemical ability is the ability to use gold to store health, which is very useful in a fight. And it's really interesting how Bendalloy works. So they mention it that Bendalloy, it only affects things within the bubble, so it won't affect anything outside of the bubble. So as Wax points out, you can't shoot someone through a speed bubble. If you try to shoot someone through a speed bubble, the bullet will ricochet in a random direction, which is very interesting.
Yeah, speed bubbles are a super cool power.
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of Brandon's way of doing super speed. It's like you can't just
Yeah.
move super fast, but you can put up a bubble where time moves slow for you.
Yeah. So this is the first of our new medals that we get to see, which is very exciting.
3 more to go.
Yeah.
Kara, you all done with your chapter recap?
Yeah.
Okay. Just want to be sure there's nothing else.
Why do you think
do-
those two powers are called a slider?
Why?
Time slides around them.
So I think it's because I think the use of Bendalloy is called a slider because you look like a blur as you move within the speed bubble. So you kind of slide between places and you're kind of sliding in between time in a
Whoa.
way.
Yeah.
I think it's a reference to the old sci-fi TV show.
Possibly.
What show?
It's called Sliders.
Sliders.
And it has nothing to do with sliders. I was just being a dork.
What is that TV show? I don't like.
It's a show about a group of people who slide between realities through wormholes, basically. Think Quantum Leap, but different realities instead of different times.
Yeah.
95.
Right on.
Okay. Cool.
Let's see. There's a character referenced named Entroni, something along that line. Entrone. Anybody care to guess that reference?
I recognize it, but I can't remember.
During the Final Empire, House Entrone was not one of the great houses, but it had enough clout to be considered a major political ally of House Tikiel. When Kelsier was sowing chaos among nobles, he murdered Charles Entrone and dumped the corpse on Tikiel's gardens.
Oh.
He is that corpse that just gets plopped down that one time.
I remember that. That was great.
All right, then. Thank you for that bit of trivia.
I have got one, actually.
There.
In this chapter,
Oh, you did?
the month of Vinarch is mentioned, right? We were talking about how many months does schedule have?
Yes.
And apparently we have a word of Brandon in the Alloy of Law annotations that says, yes, one of the months in the year is named after Vin. There are 12 months, one after each member of the crew, with a few tweaks.
All right.
Oh. Cool.
And there is, okay, so I just pulled up. There is one called Vinarch, one called Doxil, which we see in the page right after this chapter. Hammondar, named after Hammond. Cladence, named after Cladent. And Merwill, named after Mare. There's also a day known as Brass Day and a day known as Steel Day. Days of the week.
Cool.
There's something called a Suitor Sense, which I found utterly hilarious.
Is that just where you go to get soothed?
No. She says she has a soother's sense about these things. It's like a way of saying, I can kind of read your expressions or your face.
Oh, okay. Because I remember there was like mention of that, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
I like the little things that have evolved. When Wax is like, hey, I left you in charge, he's like, I left Barl in charge. He's like, Barl is an idiot. I picked you. Which, after meeting Wayne, is really a testament to how much of an idiot Barl is.
It is a little concerning, isn't it?
But see, here's the thing. Wayne is not an idiot.
He's just a clown.
Yeah, but he's not an idiot. Wayne is smart. He's just a fool. There's a difference.
It's like, there's also Miles, and he's...
But he gets...
He's like, but there's also Miles, and he's like, Miles would just kill an innocent person to make sure that they're not guilty.
Right.
It's like... So the options were murder happy and idiot, and we got Wayne.
Whose heart is usually in the right place. Say nothing else.
Yep. Slider, Bendalloy. Pardon me as I scroll through all the dozens of things that I caught in this. I love Steris keeping the cliche of a coachman. What is the female version of mistress for men?
There's not
Gigolo?
one. There's not one. Nope.
Okay.
Secret
So
endeavor.
there was a
We live in a patriarchal society.
so this one I'm pretty sure I already have an answer for, but I wanted to get your guys' opinion. When Wayne creates his time bubble, Wax makes a comment that he must be flaring it, and that's why time is moving so slowly. So flaring seems to reflect how much time is passing in the outside world, right? Does flaring
Yes.
also extend to how big the bubble can get, or is that just a set size that has nothing to do with flaring / elementic strength?
The
We don't
no.
know.
So at this point, we don't know.
Okay.
And I will just leave it at that. We could talk about that later.
Seems
Okie
like you do
dokie.
need to have a measure of concentration and practice with the abilities, as well as,
If you want to know the answer, I can answer it in your section.
And please note, not all of these are because they're plot, it's just they're stupidly convoluted Cosmere
Yeah.
yada
This is
yadas.
not necessarily plot, but it is like it's just like things that we learn later on in the series. So
And there are also zinc counselors nowadays. I thought that was nice.
it's good to kind
Which
of
are
ask these
rioters.
questions though, because after we see it for the first time, we start taking it for granted. So I would like to talk about that in the spoilers.
Okay. And Sweetie, you have chapter 3, correct?
I do.
Okay. Real quick, we are not going to cover the broadsheets. We're going to cover them in our epilogue episode when we also talk about the Ars Arcanums, because annoyingly they're split into 4, and that makes them super difficult to read. So we're going to cover them all at once when we have like a main 1-page version that we will also link in the episode.
Oh, I listened to the audiobook, so I didn't even read the sheet and like
Yeah, you get
happened
1/4. You get the top left corner.
Same. I
And
just saw it for the first time while we were doing this podcast. I was like, whoa, that's cool. Okay.
only good
That's a
if
smart
you
way to
want
cover
like
it, though. We will get to those. So for now, do you want to get into chapter 3?
Ow.
Or are all still
yes,
awake?
please. Chapter 3 is fun.
Okay. Elovala, chapter 3. Although all he wants to do is play in the mists, which never show up, by the way, Wax confines himself to his estate for the evening to look into the Vanisher's case. Armed with tea, broadsheets, and a large piece of paper complete with Wayne-esque doodles of little guys, Wax looks into the specifics of the first robbery. He realizes that the wool the train reported stolen was out of season, and it's highly likely they were transporting aluminum instead, which in this world is insanely valuable, as we talked about, and dangerous to allomancers, as we also mentioned. Speaking of which, Wax also figures that the hostages were probably the main target, due mostly to there being no ransom or bodies found. But that's not all. The women, as they are all women, are known highborns, who have a high likelihood of being allomancers. Combine that with the aluminum bullet Wayne was shoving in Wax's face, and this is all starting to look very dangerous. His butler reminds him that the house is counting on him to fulfill his role and manage their finances and leases, and being 2 a.m., Wax agrees to set the case aside for the night. After all, his butler shares an eye-opening story about his late Uncle Edward, a man whom Wax is taking over for. Apparently, Edwarn used to gamble frequently and was very good, or lucky at it. And allegedly, he made a small fortune betting, but was so distracted by it that the house fell to ruin. Feeling drained by it all, Wax realizes he never prayed. Being a follower of the path, he worships harmony. Only the way you worship harmony is kind of unique. You do not worship harmony himself, but rather follow some simple tenets like do more good than harm, all truth is important, give more than you take, and it also in this chapter talks about the Words of Founding, which is a book that contains examples of over 300 religions and followers that the followers of the path look to for inspiration, just as a little bit of history. The main thing being that you don't worship harmony itself, but by doing good, that's worshiping harmony, which I thought was really cool.
I like that.
Such a Sazed thing to do.
Right? Just give back. But it also talks about following and studying those religions as a way of preserving that knowledge, which is obviously really important to like Era 1 and the themes in that book.
And who Sazed is.
Absolutely.
Okay, we can just say it says it.
So another part of that is that you have to meditate for like 15 minutes a day. And part of that is he has to put in his earring, just like a certain pint-sized ball of destruction used to wear. The earring is stamped with the 10 interlocking rings of the path. Wax is convinced that he was given this ring by a Khandra. He calls it a faceless immortal. He tells it like he was on his train ride out of Elendel. He had just decided to move out of town and go fight crime in the roughs, and he meets a Khandra who converts him to being a Pathian, which is an interesting thing I didn't remember from this series until going back to this chapter. So he ruminates on his decision to leave the city and go to the roughs, and it's all kind of tied to his decision to become Pathian in a way. He really found himself for the first time by acting upon his instincts to better the world in a way that would directly save people over the intangible ways that justice fights through bureaucracy in Elendel. He never really hears Harmony's voice or sees him or gets real proof that something is out there, except for a sense of encouragement, a validation that Wax accepts, and feels more like... to me, that seemed more like a tangible sensation, like he was almost like getting soothed more than like just his own personal validation. Like, does that make sense to you guys?
Yeah.
It makes sense that that is possible. I am not certain if I want to say if that was what happened.
It definitely seemed ambiguous.
Yes.
All right. So he feels responsibility pulling him in both directions, basically. Save the house or find the Vanishers. And he's questioning, can he afford to do both? Is that what Harmony wants for him? In the end, he succumbs to violent flashbacks thinking about Lessie, how in her last moment, his was the hand that pulled the trigger. How could he save these people when he couldn't even save her? And that's the chapter.
At one point, so he has to get out like that drawing board because he's like, I have to be able to visualize all this, which is a nice reference to like Kelsier back in book 1. But also at one point, he's like, oh, here are some theories that other people had that, oh, maybe it was like a slider like Wayne. And it's like, no, you can't move that big of a thing, or if something goes through it, yada, yada. But then somebody else is like, hey, maybe a fairing was able to store a whole bunch of weight and lift it. And I'm like, how much weight does one person have to store in order to lift a train car full of metal?
You'd have to store strength.
Yes, but how much strength would a single person, the average Joe, have to store in order to do that? And we know that ferochemists gain muscle mass when they tap strength. So, like, how big was this guy?
Yeah, it's kind of a question of, like, what is happening? Like, it doesn't really feel like it makes a whole lot of sense. Going, like, how are they getting? Sorry, how are they getting the material like out the train?
Yeah, at this
There's
point,
also
we don't know. I like how Wax focuses on the things he does know, right? He's like deducing through the transactions, which is instead of, yeah.
He very quickly realized, yeah, this is sleight of hand. Like, you're doing one thing to distract from the real objective, which at this point he is pretty convinced that the real objective is these women for whatever reason.
At one point, Wax is like, "Preservation's wings," as an exclamation. I really like that one because you have in the final battle, Vin is described when Preservation as having wings with all the mist coming out of her. So I really like that one.
Oh yeah, in the final battle when she fueled Ellen Alamancy. Yeah.
You get a reference to Wax's sister, whose name is Telsin, and the fact that she and his uncle died in an accident at some point in the past. Oh,
Well,
also Miststrafe still exists.
right. They died a year ago. That is the reason Wax had to come back. Was because he was suddenly the head of
Mysterious
surviving heir.
circumstances.
yeah.
Um, There's also a reference to the origin. We don't really know what that is, but could be easily surmised.
What was that reference? I can't remember.
It is a reference to the original people that survived the end of the world, and so it's the people who came out of the caves and all the
Okay.
Lord Rulers' secret things. They're the origin. But the thing is, on Coppermind, the origin references to a Stormlight Archive thing. You have to look up the originators in order to get to the Mistborn one. Yeah, that's all I got.
Yeah, simple kind of Batman chapter, right? Just trying to track down the guys.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But not like Christian Bale Batman. It's more like the Great Detective Batman, old school.
Yeah. Old school
Yeah.
Batman.
Old school Batman.
Yeah.
Yeah. This book is fairly straightforward. Fairly
Especially in the beginning.
fast-paced.
Yeah.
I mean, it's setting up a pretty simple. You've got point A, point B, point C, because you meet Wax. Wax's wife gets fridged. Wax is upset about it, and then something's gonna draw him back in. Like,
Mhm.
it's a fairly cliche story
So far.
so far.
So it's, yeah, I like that you're
Anything?
pulling out like all the little details, especially the references to Arrow One, because that's like the fun stuff about these books, especially.
So I really don't understand if somebody's starting with this book. I honestly want to understand what their thought process is.
They like Wild
Hey, look, a
West.
cowboy.
Yeah.
It's straightforward.
And they want Wild West with magic. That's
They're like,
why
man,
they start
these
with this one.
Mistborn people sure sound cool. A shame none ever exist anymore. Who's the Ascendant Warrior? Who's Kelsier? Who's the Survivor? All of this. Oh, we also learned that the Church of the Survivor is now an actual religion called Survivorism.
True.
And
And Pathians, and what do they call the ones that worship Old Iron Eyes?
We don't know those.
Oh,
Yes, we do.
Yeah, you're right. They do
I meant
talk about
Steris
was that
mentions it.
reference? Steris does?
that. Yes.
I will check.
Can't remember.
I don't see it.
Sliverism.
Sliverism, that's it.
Yeah.
I know it's Sliverism, but where's it referenced?
When they're talking about religion and in the discussion of their marriage contract.
But it goes from I follow the path, I don't understand, it's complicated, Pathians, yada yada yada, you're a survivorist, and then they get T.
I don't remember the
It's
exact passage. But
when
I
they're
do
talking about attending the wedding, because whoever that house is all a bunch of sliverists.
Okay. NK, you're right. The wedding is on the morrow. Not so that just confused me. Just K, you're right. Can I get that? It's like a button right on it.
Okay, you're right. Thank you very much.
I love it.
John, I believe this do not seem to.
I believe you. I'm just trying to find.
I want to know where it is.
Unfortunately, in the audiobook, I don't have like page numbers.
I know.
On mine, it's on 46, 47-ish. Okay. But, yada, yada, yada. Let me really quickly pull up to double check something. Yep. Okay. Next time, we're going to be covering chapters 4, 5, and 6. I'm going to preemptively call dibs on chapter 4.
Okay, then.
But for now, it is time to head into the spoiler realm. So if you have not finished this book, the entire series, or potentially the entire Cosmere, then we recommend you stop here because it is likely that we will talk about everything and anything. If you are up to caught up, feel free to stick around because it is likely that we will bring up details one may have missed or plot threads still yet to come. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a like, star, heart, or whatever it is on this podcast. Don't be afraid to comment your own thoughts and predictions. We would love to hear from you. You can find us on our socials via the link tree in our description. But at this wellness part, my name is ReaderWarrior, and I've been joined by Swiggity Swoo.
There's always another Swiggity.
Did I freeze?
You did.
Yes.
Okay. Swiggity, can I assume you gave your little outro line?
It did, and it was awesome. It was like the best one I've ever given.
Okay. John!
If you want to be a guest, you can pay for it in gummy bears.
And K.
See ya.
And don't forget, there's always another connection. And we're back! Spoilers!
Cowabunga.
Okay, let's talk about
I love
Bendalloy.
Speed Boy.
Okay, just because I want to talk about this before I forget about it. Essentially, the size of your speed bubble is based off of a couple things. It's based off like allomantic abilities. It's also based on how much you practice with it. And how much Bendalloy you have. So as we see at the end of Metal, when Wayne uses his speed bubble in order to prevent the destruction of the whole world, essentially.
Ellendell.
Ellendell, but it's
It's like when aliens just attack DC. It's the whole world.
Yeah. So that he does a couple things to change the size of his speed bubble is he burns a crap ton of Bendalloy, but also he has been burning so much Bendalloy that he is not quite a savant, but he is practiced enough with Bendalloy that he can manipulate the size and shape of his speed bubble. So those are two things, and then obviously like your own allomantic power, like how much inner like allomantic power within yourself you have as well can also affect how big your speed bubble can be. What I think is interesting is it appears that at least later on in the book, I don't know if this is actually, but that it might just be that Marasi's her version of her speed bubble, her slow bubble, that I feel like she is. Do we think that she is allomantically stronger than Wayne is? Because she could make hers into the size of a root.
I always thought it was the alloy.
Or is it the fact that she's using cadmium rather than Bendalloy?
I feel like the slow bubbles are inherently just bigger.
Yeah. I thought that was a part of the dichotomy of being the alloy.
Yeah, but it probably also fluctuates based on those same factors.
Yeah.
You know, because everything kind of does.
Yeah. So, yep. Did that answer your question, Swiggity, from earlier? Or was your question, reader?
It's always me asking the questions. Me asking the questions just to get explained in an answer that I've already forgotten the question to when we get to the spoiler section.
I do like that it's kind of skill-based and not just raw power. Though.
Yeah.
I thought I remembered something where a slider savant for Bendalloy could like shrink it so it's like their body shape and move with it was an old thing. But then in the Lost Metal, we just had Wayne walking with a bubble around him.
I think if you are a savant, you might be able to do what you say, where you might be able to actually speed bubble once it's up. We know, so because speed bubbles cannot be moved once they have been placed, both the speed bubbles and the slow bubble of cadmium, neither of them can be moved once they have started burning. But it would be interesting that if someone who is a savant would be able to move their bubble or not. Because we do see, and it would make sense that they would be able to change it to make it so that it wrapped around their body, because we see Wayne changing the shape of his bubble. We know that that's possible, that it doesn't have to be a sphere. It doesn't have to be spherical. It can be a different shape.
Or you could like put it in front of somebody who's trying to pick their nose and they make them accidentally punch themselves in the face. Like if you could just put it further away.
That is a very unique
really
circumstance to start with. Like,
funny, it's the first thing
what's
I thought
happened
to
you? But back to chapter 1. So we've got Wax at the party, and we're getting a whole bunch of references to like all the stuff from the first book, which is always funny if Demu ever shows up again. He's like, "Oh, it's my promenade."
Yes, we do know from
I'm glad you brought that up. That's funny.
Way of Kings that Demu is still around and kicking around in the Cosmere.
Speed bubbles are OP if you can project them and put them somewhere else. Imagine someone is doing a routine action. Something like, say, swinging a hammer. And you make a little speed bubble like this big, and you put it right in the path of their hand. Now their hand goes supersonic while the rest of their arm sits at normal speed, and they go...
Okay, I think it's still like a copper cloud.
Side note.
It comes out of you.
Also, so first of all, it comes out of you. The allomantic grenades that they get later on. But second of all, if any part of you is touching the speed bubble, body is within the...
Oh, wild.
You can't have only part of you within the speed bubble.
That would have, because it would have been too OP if it was.
Yeah, so...
I could put the slow bubble around your heart.
Yeah,
You're evil.
That would be evil. But yeah, so it centers around you, unless you are using the allomantic grenades.
So
we see later on.
Since we already have a counterexample, I think it's safe to say that there's going to be a way to fiddle with that in some way in the future, potentially, at least.
I would imagine with... Sorry.
Can we speed up our thoughts as well somehow?
So you
feel like
can
that's a thing
store in one of the
Oh, that's it.
Yeah.
with
Yep.
Ferochemy, you can store
And with...
Cognition
So
or something?
Stormlight RPG
With-
was announced sort of at Nexus, or they released a whole bunch of stuff at Nexus saying, hey, we're doing this, and we got it this year. There's a large belief, I don't know if it's been confirmed, not that the Mistborn RPG is going to be released this year, or they're announcing things about it.
It's going to be released next year.
It's going to be released next year, but they're announcing things at like Nexus and allowing like small play tests.
Probably. That wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah.
But
So I imagine with that...
Zinc is the one that stores mental speed.
So I imagine once we have... And it's not going to be a 1-to-1 ratio of book to game, but if we have the game, we can know sort of if that is a capability of that.
It would be interesting if Cosmere RPG talks about being a savant, like what that would entail. Because kind of the only thing that we know about savantism, really the only example of savantism we have is Tin right now with Spook and his tin burning ability. So it'd be kind of interesting to learn some
Twinborn savant hijinks.
Oh, jeez.
Reader, you're familiar with the come on, brain. The Mistborn RPG, the old one?
Not really, no.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
I wonder if there's anything in there. I'll have to go look. I wonder if there's anything in there about savantism.
I don't
No idea.
think
I just
there
asked
is.
some of my friends at Shard of Opportunity if they have any clue if savantism is going to be later inputted. We interviewed Johnny a month ago, and I should have added that to my list of questions.
It's okay. Okay. Back to Alloy of Law.
Back to chapter 1. Is there a limit to how much a metal mind can store? So could Wax with if he had like his one bracer, and we know he's been for a good while, he has not been using his full strength, so he's been constantly just storing weight. Is there a top limit to a metal mind?
I think the answer is yes, and I think it depends on how big the metal mind itself is, because we know that. So, looking at Sazed in Era 1, he had to have multiple copper mines that he wore on himself. He had multiple copper mind bracers that he wore on his arm. He talks about having rings, his smaller metal mines versus his larger metal mines, which kind of implies that the small ones can hold less than the larger ones do.
It's like a battery.
Yeah.
Just if Wax has been storing constantly for, and I'm going to be kind of concerned and say like 10 years.
So only storing it, he does the weight sometimes. He does increase his weight sometimes. So he does use at a certain rate, but he definitely is storing it at a than he is using it.
Can you imagine how often you'd be flicking that ability on and off if you could just do it infinitely? Like,
oh, I would. What Wax is doing, where he's like constantly storing, I would be doing that all the time.
Yeah, he's constantly at
just be super light.
3/4 weight. Like,
I feel like
wouldn't your muscles like atrophy?
Yeah, like you wouldn't develop your strength as strongly if you were always doing that.
But then you get into the confusion of, so he's not weighing the same, but the thing is he still falls at the same rate, so gravity still pulls at the constant, so he's still
Because gravity
acting
is a
against
constant.
gravity.
Because gravity is a constant.
Yeah, I'm
Like
just
if you
Well,
weight is a byproduct of gravity.
no, so
right. It's not
but
changing his mass.
but falling. So if you
But I'm saying the
drop,
downward pull and
I'm
moving.
yeah, the downward pull is the same. Because gravity is no matter how much you weigh.
But the force you would have to exert to push it upwards would be increased, right? That's how lifting weight is. Like you're doing
Yeah.
work on it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right? So
Yeah.
if you're making yourself lighter, it would require less force to lift your arm.
Right, and
even if it
you
falls at the same rate.
it would
naturally.
require less. Well, yeah, making yourself lighter with the same volume would just change your terminal velocity, not the rate at which you accelerate downwards.
I was more meaning like using it for balance, like a cat would use its tail. Like that would be kind of a sixth sense that just develops for you, I think.
What I think would be funny is if like you have one of those falling dreams, so you just like instinctively start storing weight.
Oh.
Wake up with a cold sweat,
pushing,
like floating on the surface of your bed.
Or instinctively, if you like
Do we
tap
think
weight and you.
Do we think that he wears his metal mines?
Yes.
Knowing Wax, probably.
He probably did in the roughs. I don't know necessarily that he would in.
I think he does, because Wayne
Elendel.
makes the comment in chapter 3, like, you're still wearing your metal mines.
I can't think of a time
Well,
in the
yeah,
series.
but
Yeah, he wear them out and about, but I don't think he would
Yeah.
necessarily wear them in his sleep in Elendel.
I mean, that's also like saying that he like had fun because he's not insane. Like he's still gonna carry a weapon with him.
I can see it. I don't think he would drink steel while he's asleep, but I think he would wear his metal mines. Vin would absolutely just chug as much metals to be in her when she's asleep.
No, she doesn't. No, because Kelsier instilled in her the fact that metals can be poisonous to you if they're left in your system to digest. So she specifically does not drink any. She specifically burns off her metals before she goes to bed. That is something that that is specifically stated in the book. I will pull it. I know
Kelsier says it. Okay, Kay.
No,
Kay,
I will pull it up to you.
Kay says it. Kelsier says it to her that he recommends you don't do that because it is dangerous.
There are multiple instances where she wakes up and she downs a vial of metal because she does not have any metal in her system because she burned it off before she went to bed.
I don't remember.
It's in Well of Ascension. It is when they are in the tent. Specifically, that is specifically mentioned in that scene. I distinctly remember it, and there are more instances than that. That is just the one that I distinctly remember.
Spook just did it.
I wouldn't put it past her.
Stop yelling at me.
If she was in a pinch, she's
I was trying
to push herself past the point of no return.
Yeah.
Even Spook doesn't sleep with the metals in his system because the first thing he does when he wakes up is drop a handful of tin in the cup and swallow it down.
But there was a specific line
because
in book 3,
he burns it off during the night while he's sleeping. That's why he downs the tin in the morning, because he's burned all of his tin off that he had in his system in during the night while he was sleeping. Now, on the other hand, reader, you might be thinking of Zane. Zane, it is mentioned that he does keep metals in his system at night.
All I was trying to do was draw a parallel of how paranoid Vin was to how paranoid Wax was. That's all I was trying to do.
And
Apparently, you can't do it incorrectly. You're not allowed.
Like, exaggerate or anything. Okay. So
press your button.
Yeah, button pressed.
I was like, I will pull up the scene in Well of Ascension if you want me to.
Go ahead. Whatever you want. We'll make you happy.
Unless you believe me, in that case.
I
will
believe
not
you.
have to.
I was trying to draw a parallel, and I didn't remember a specific scene where she woke up. I remember her not falling asleep and trying to stay awake with metals, and then I don't remember a specific line of her burning them away. But I will take your word on it.
What kind of wild dreams would you have? Falling asleep with tin in your system, like as a tin eye. What would that be
Hearing
like?
everything, man.
I think you'd wake up every time a mouse farts in the next room. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, that's why Spook had to shove so much
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, focus. Alloy of Law.
Okay, Alloy of Law. So Wayne Wax comments, Wayne once said he knew all the different combinations of Twinborn. There is no canon list, really, of all
Wayne
the...
is also a bullshitter.
Yes.
yeah.
So,
It also says, like, literally a line later that he once owned a horse that could belch in perfect musical notes.
He claimed
He had a Rashadium, guys. Confirmed.
Yes. But I have seen many different versions, and I just want to comment that's on one of them what Wayne is. Bendalloy in gold is a constant, which I thought was a really nice one, considering healing and time. There is some called navigators, big shots, strong arms, visionaries, high rollers, zealots, soul burst. There are some really interesting ones. At one point, when Wax is going about, man, we have been on this chapter for a while. When Wax is hearing the noise of the gunshots, he says, "You felt a thrill." Ha.
oh,
Not
I
to be
was gonna
confused
s-
with The Thrill.
Oh, this is later on. So this is chapter 3.
Can't wait.
No, because I'm gonna forget.
My time stamping.
We're in the spoiler section.
We're in the spoiler section. It doesn't matter.
The spoiler section is chaos.
It is
Yes.
chaos.
Should
Listen,
be.
that's how it is. Swiggity, you asked a question about whether or not we thought that the
voice
sense
of harmony.
that Wax was feeling was like a soothing sense. It 100% is.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, I remember that.
Because Harmony is 100% influencing Wax right now because he wants Wax to investigate the Vanisher's case.
Awesome.
The Sword of Harmony.
That's what I
So-
thought. Because
Yeah, I just couldn't say that in the
yeah,
in the non-spoiler section. I was
I
like,
see how it's supposed to be ambiguous, but once you know, it doesn't read that way at all.
Yeah.
yeah.
If you know,
Chapter
you
one.
know.
If you know, you know. If you don't
wonder-
remember, anything spiked by anyone spiked by metal can be influenced by ruin. Guess who now?
Slash harmony.
The shard of ruin, Harmony.
Our boy says it.
Our boy says it.
So Wax comments that determining when the mist will be out is like impossible, and that the days can be dry as heck and yet have rain, or not rain. It could be dry but have mist, or wet and have mist, or vice versa and not.
Mhm.
I want to see if Sazed like reports into like some. Well, does Sazed control this, and what is his specifics of when mist comes out? Or if we get like in Era 3, like somebody in front of like the weather report, and we're expecting mist to come in, but Sazed's being a punk little.
Saza out when he wanted to be dramatic.
We're expecting some plot characters in this area, so we're expecting mist to go down this way on the south wind. And like it's got little Sawzed puffing images.
There is only mist out now, and Sanderson something dramatic to happen.
It's just different groups of people lobbying to him, trying to get the weather they want.
It's like, I'll pick you. You have the little break, and then you've got the butler did it with the candelabra. How is it pronounced in the audiobook, John? You said Talome?
Tion.
Okay, I was going to pronounce it Talame.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
the
spelled
way
wild.
it's spelled really weirdly in the book. I'd
Oh.
forgotten how weird it was.
Tango, Indigo, Llama, Llama, Alpha,
Oh God,
Umbrella.
don't do that. Don't do that.
Tillaume.
You sound like a speech robot having a stroke.
Speak
I know
and spell.
phonetics. Military brat. Phonetics.
That's not phonetics.
Yes, it is.
I remember those commercials. Get hooked on phonetics.
Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, Delta, Echo,
No,
Foxtrot.
that is not phonetics. That is not phonetics. That is not phonetics. Phonetics is the way that letters sound. That like spelling letters based on how they sound and how like the actual
right.
spelling words based on how they sound. Like
Phonetic
there's
alphabet.
specific letters. Yeah, that is different than what you're saying.
No, it wasn't. I spelled it out. I did Tillaum.
No, the
Anyway,
the like Alpha Bravo, that shut
This
up.
guy's totally
than
working
phonetics.
for Seth.
Sorry.
Right?
Just...
He's working for Edwarn.
Oh yeah, he is.
Oh, yeah.
No, he's working for Edward.
And you'll notice every
Yeah.
time he's on the page, he's trying to convince Wax to put the mist cloak down.
Mm-hmm. And a big thing is, like, he spent 5 months, like, convincing him to give it all up, and now in chapter 3, he's like, oh my gosh, I thought I was done with this.
He doesn't want him to get involved in the Vanishers case. Because Edward is running that thing.
Yeah, he keeps trying to subtly guide him away until eventually he probably just wants to blow him up or something.
He does, in fact, try to do that.
Or poison him. Okay. Anything else for chapter 1? It's been a little sporadic. Chapter 2. So that one steel button that Wax comments upon is later used to hit at or kill, I don't remember which, Talame. I like how Talome.
How was it pronounced? Can you say that?
I was doing Talame.
I mean, it sounded when I was listening to it, it sounded like Tion. But now I'm second guessing myself, and I'll have to go back and put it to normal speed and listen more closely, because I didn't hear an M or L's at all.
Sounded like that.
So I don't know. Maybe the double L is like the double L in tortilla.
Tiom.
Tiom. There was no E sound on the end.
It's like the double L in Oreo.
That's a great question. Why is there an X at the end of Demu's name? Like, there's a lot.
Why is there a C in scissors? Why is
there's a lot of things that don't
because
make
English
sense.
is 6 other languages in a trench coat.
True.
Give me a pair of skizzers.
Okay.
Okay, chapter 2. You've got.
Is that a Twinborn? Sorry, skizzers.
Chapter 2, get a bunch of just world building about how Wax has changed over the past couple months. He's got a maid, he's got the butler, he's got random workers that are never referenced again.
I know. I noticed that too. It's like, are these people coming back? This kid gonna like grow up and be badass? No.
Nope.
With the exception of which one was it? The maid lady. I can't remember her name. Grimes.
Grimes.
She's the one who hires Hoyd.
Oh my gosh, that's funny.
That's the only real thing. There's nothing on Kip. There's nothing on
At
Lemmy.
the end of another book series. Wow.
Nothing. There's Wayne shows up immediately trying to steal. Should I keep a tracker of all the things he tries to trade?
It's gonna be a long list.
Yeah, this is going to be a very long list.
Because he takes the clock and he trades it for a bottle of whiskey, I think.
Yep.
Yes.
Our first.
He trades a pen for a pencil. He said he traded the bullet for
Cobblestone.
A cobblestone. He also traded the list. There was like a list that he got that he traded as well for something.
A nice drawing he did.
Yeah.
This should be our trivia for the week. We should.
What did? Oh my gosh! What did Wax trade for this?
What did Wayne?
Wayne, sorry. Gosh.
You keep mixing them up.
No, I mixed them up the first time.
Oh no, you mixed them up the first time. Never mind.
I'm still getting back into things. There's a line called "Rest with the Hero," which I like that one. Steris shows up, and I knew absolutely that Kay would take this chapter.
I think we all did. Something, Steris, something.
Uh-huh. I don't understand Steris, like making all these plans and organizing and all this bringing stuff from chaos.
She's not your spirit animal.
Steris is a queen of organization.
Yeah, who needs organization? I mean,
for viewers or listeners who have made it this far somehow, ReaderWarrior is very like critically in charge of keeping everything organized and like methodically planning out like years in advance our lives.
Reader's spirit animal is in fact Steris.
I am not autistic coded. I am Steris coded.
They're twins separated at birth.
There's your cameo, Reader. It's just Steris.
Oh, it's just. Hi, my name is Reader Steris Warrior. Yes, he did steal my middle name. Wayne perks up at the thought of lesbianism tied into his whole thing with Roulette. I love how Steris basically calls the path dull in this, considering how she is.
She's not dull.
In this one, she is.
She is this one. Yeah, she's.
I love her, but yes.
Well, I like how Wax had the opposite reaction. Oh, she's a Pathian. Great.
She's a survivorist.
Right. My bad. Yeah.
Total wild card.
Wax. Wayne keeps trying to trade things for bars. I don't think. What kind of bars is he talking about? Metal bars, or is that a monetary system? Or
it's got an album coming out.
It's definitely not a monetary. Wayne
think so,
does
but
not buy anything with money.
Yeah,
Bendalloy.
Are they talking like bars of metal?
I'll
trade you an ingot. That's what I'm thinking.
I kind of think so too. But like,
that would make sense in this world. Obsessed with metal.
I think it's like more the in-world equivalent to like a large bank issued note, like not like a bill, but like a bank note, you know, like a bond. I think that might be.
That could be
something like that along those lines. So it's like quasi currency.
You briefly see Marasi's sort of detective interest showing.
You have the moment. Oh, this made me laugh. The moment where where Steris mentions that one of the people who was kidnapped was her cousin, and he's like, "Oh, like Marasi," and they look at him like weirdly, and then they remember their cover story.
Like, she's a cousin. Yes, she is a cousin. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
she's
yeah, no,
definitely
yeah.
Not that
Ooh,
one.
yeah.
Not the same. Not that
different,
side.
different
Yeah.
side of the family.
No. not even close to that side. Even. Now that
Which I
you mention
thought
it.
very funny.
We do see that cousin in The Lost Metal. So.
That's funny.
Okay, so this could send us on how much time we got left. Oh boy. So aluminum has no steel line.
Correct.
That is established. Duralumin is an alloy of aluminum. Does duralumin have a steel line?
Probably.
But if you make alloys of aluminum to make it so that, because the whole thing was like, I didn't know somebody made an alloy that could be made into bullets. At what point would aluminum become like duralumin and therefore gain a steel line?
So, there's a lot of problems with the metallurgy of aluminum in this book series.
Yeah.
So let's just go sander magic and let that lie. Yeah.
Maybe
Okay.
it just gets a dotted line.
Maybe.
The closer it gets to it, it's just like...
Because, like, even when Wax is looking at the bullet, like, allomantically, unless the slug, the casing, and the cap are all made from aluminum, he would get a line to that object.
Okay, you're basing that off of that one time.
Pieces. No. They are three separate, distinct pieces of metal.
But he has to be focusing in order to view them as that. Like, he did that one time. We don't ever really see him do that in a normal setting.
I'll say that also has to do with intent. Like, if you're intending, capital I, intent, like, is his intent to look at it as three separate pieces of metal, or is his intent to see it as one piece of metal?
Well, let's think about what we know about Wax. One, he's kind of a gun nut, right? He's got gun catalogs, he knows about guns, he uses them for his work, or at least he has for the last 20 years. He understands how bullets work, what makes a good gun, how, the act of shooting works. He interfaces with them allomantically on a regular basis between his steel bubble and using his steel pushing to accelerate his bullets. He knows that a bullet is three pieces, right? Or
yes,
at the very least two pieces if it's like a rimfire type round. But this is...
But he also might not be like looking at this as he's just looking at it as a bullet. He's been out of practice for almost a year.
I also want to say he doesn't generally treat bullets as those three separate pieces when he's looking at it allomantically.
Except he does, because he's routinely using bullet casings to push off of.
But that's because they're just the bullet casings. I don't think...
Right,
I'm
but
pretty sure
my point is
casings.
The bullet casing, the shell, is a separate piece of metal. He knows that is... And because he's usually shooting lead, presumably, he should know that they are made of different things, right? Furthermore, we find out later that he does metallurgy as a hobby.
Do we think that this bullet is just a bullet casing because of the fact that it was found at the crime scene?
That's also...
It probably would be, but it could also just be the slug portion that hit something and deformed, and then now it's just like a deformed slug.
So, therefore, it could just be one piece in general.
It could be, and that's kind of where I was going with all of this. So we don't... Bullet isn't a thing. Like, I mean, it is, but it isn't. It's more complicated. Oh, God, I'm sorry. I know things about guns. Damn it.
So all the women are being placed in a bunker and told that the world has ended.
Correct.
Yes. We find them 3
Spoilers.
books down the line. Yes. Thanks, Swiggity,
We
for
are,
reminding
in
us where we
fact,
are.
in the spoiler section.
I know, it's just funny on their first, like, I guess technically second episode. Just like,
Yeah, here's the end of book 4.
Major spoilers for the end of the series.
but it's also crazy that it takes that long to find out what happens to these women.
Well, we weren't even expecting it.
I know, but reading
right?
this like the first time through, you're like, yeah, they're gonna get back the women, they're gonna solve the crime, and then it's just kind of like, oh yeah, we never did figure that out until the lost metal
You
came out.
do. We find the women at the end of this book because, like, Steris gets taken, and we find her and another is with her.
Okay.
So
Not
it's
all.
like, so we find those 2 women at the end.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of not really mentioned about what happens to the other 2.
But the mystery is never fully. Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, chapter 3, you get the first broadsheet. And by the way, there are 2 holidays known as Survivor's Day and Harmontide. Thought that was a fun detail. Could a Micro Booster slow time down or increase the time of a bubble?
We don't know.
Considering we see that
So-
Wayne flaring causes the time to dilate more, could a Micro Booster assist in that?
Yes, because we see Wayne use a Duraloon enhanced boost at the end of the lost metal.
I keep forgetting about that. I try to block that out.
Yeah, so yes.
Okay.
It would speed up time within the bubble even more.
Okay.
Cool.
Telson and Uncle did not die in the accident. Miss Race are still around.
They are
There's
still
the guy saying
and kicking.
There's the guy saying he was a copper cloud that bugs me. And one of the tenets is to see the strengths in all flaws, and that's like Sanderson writing 101.
I thought that too.
I was like, sweet, he's gonna enjoy that one.
Yeah.
And then the faceless immortal that Wax meets was Melon.
Ta-da.
And do we think Harmony, there's a brief little thing where he thinks he hears a voice or a voice in him. Do we think that was Sazed?
Yes, it was 100%. That's what I stated earlier too.
I thought we were still talking about the feeling, not what was said.
I never really said it, but like the words of founding too are like written by him. And
it says use the voice that he hears talent. You'll figure it out. That is Harmony talking to him.
What does it say?
Use your talents. You'll figure it out.
I know, but something seemed to whisper inside of him. I wonder if there was a difference between recent version and first version.
No, that's what it says. Something seemed to whisper inside of him.
Yeah, I definitely think that's Sazed.
Yeah, no, 100% that's Sazed. That is, well, not Sazed. Harmony. Because he is Harmony now.
Yes.
Sazed anymore, unfortunately.
Yep. And think about this. All of this had to be to get Wayne to come back to this. This isn't Wax's story. This is Wayne's story.
I feel like the train ride, the story he tells, where he's like, "Oh, I got that ring from this faceless immortal woman on the train, and she converted me to Pathian." It's kind of cool when you think maybe like Sazed saw him leaving Elendel and saw him walking away from that lifestyle, and like knew in that moment that, oh, this is the reality where he's the sword I need. And set things in motion.
That is 100% what happened. Because he also sent, so he sent Malon with the Pathian earring so that he could start influencing Wax and Wax's path. He also sent Lessie to him to push Wax down a certain path. Lessie wasn't supposed to stay with Wax, but she was supposed to push him in a certain direction.
I have to wonder if, like, Lessie, Bleeder, whatever her original name is, I can't remember.
Palm,
yes. Like, if she pushed him towards certain things, like, hey, we need to go to this city, and that's where Wayne was when he got captured, and, oh, maybe we should take this kid under our wing. And, like, she kind of pushed those events.
I don't think she liked Wayne.
I could see. She can still not like some. I mean, Orsier did not like Vid.
No, not for a while.
Hmm.
I see what you're saying though, like also leading him to Wayne through that connection, and
yeah,
I think so. I mean, Wayne wasn't in Ellendale; he was in the Roughs, so.
Wax had to go to the Roughs so that way Wayne could get saved. That way Wayne could come back to this point so that he can save the world when everything was going to go boom.
I never saw Apache's hand in delaying me until I found you.
Nice reference.
Anything else in these chapter sets? We are getting back to our normal recording lengths. It is nice to see.
It didn't take long.
Are we at 3 hours already? What are we at?
Almost.
You're getting there.
Oh no.
It doesn't matter how many chapters we have.
When we have infinite things to conjecture.
Yep.
Okay.
Well, that's going to just about cover it for this episode. Thank you so much for joining us in our ramblings and predictions. This has been Cosmere Connections, and we hope you'll tune in next time. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for stopping by.
Bye-bye.
Cowabunga.
Go bye-bye!
I don't think John's listening.
All right.
I think that is correct.
Yeah, it is song by
John,
Psycho
can you
Stick.
hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. So
Yes,
if I'm
that
going
was
to do some recording, let's do a quick audio check, please.
Yeah. Swiggity, that was exactly what he was watching. That's a music video. Audio check, audio check. This is Matthew talking at a moderate volume. This is Matthew getting fairly excited. And this is Matthew just being done with the fact that Kay can correct me on every little thing.
Okay,
Roger, this
Kay
is
needs to come
Swiggity
down a
coming in,
smidge.
commanding and sarcastically. This is Swiggity being confused. What Matt got corrected on.
Okay, Swiggity's good. Okay.
I love you guys.
Hello. This is Kay. Just chatting, talking, usually being correct
Okay. That looks pretty
about
good.
things that Matter is wrong about.
Them's fighting words, I think.
It's getting hot in here.
I accept my fate.
To be fair, I was only saying that because everyone else was also rolling with it.
It's not like she has a superiority complex or anything.
It's kind of a running joke at this point.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, do you know at what point we got cut off here?
This is going to sound narcissistic, but I didn't plan this, but it was right after I was done talking. It was right after I had just finished talking. So all the great stuff you guys said, I didn't even hear it.
This, before we jump back in, this movie night thing you guys wanted to do. This weekend would actually be a pretty good weekend for me to do that because Laura's going to be dog sitting. So that means I'll be available.
Huh?
Alright.
What time?
Well,
Which day?
I will not be available this weekend because my father-in-law is in town.
Oh,
fair. You did literally just say that.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine.
But if you guys want to watch it, you are more than to.
No, we all have to be together. That's
Okay.
that's
Yeah.
part of the requisite of this because I'm not doing it twice.
Unless he likes it.
I did in fact rewatch it again earlier this week.
Oh.
Even if I do like it, I probably won't watch it often. I just don't watch a lot of movies.
But you'll rewatch The West Wing, right?
You'll just listen to the songs over and over.
For the 37th time, yeah.
Just listen to the music over and over again.
Yeah, pretty much.
When criminals in this world appear to make the laws.
I haven't even seen
Oh, I thought you were talking about the West Wing theme song, not...
Oh, I was talking about the K-pop movie.
I was also thought you were talking about the K-pop movie.
I was talking about K.
I realized it when he started singing K-pop stuff, and I'm like, that's not the West Wing theme.
No, just that was the beginning of the Underdog theme, man. When criminals in this world appear.
Okay. Well,
You were singing the
We get
Underdog.
to
I know I
Underdog.
was.
He was singing it as it came in. I was like,
I
I've
was.
seen that old cartoon.
Oh.
okay.
Oh, God! Why?
I couldn't resist.
No!
Okay, do we want to get back to finish?
We probably should.
We'll put Shoe Shine away. Ready, John? That spike in your heart, how is it?
It hurts. It really hurts.
If it helps, I'm the youngest one here, and I know it.
Maybe just... Uh-oh. Yes? No, they made a joke about me being old.
Checking in on you to see if you're actually okay.
Yeah, she's like, are you dying?
That's sweet. To be fair, that is sweet.
And then when I said they made a joke about me being old, she's like, oh, it's because you are. I'm like, oh, God. He's older than me.